Uchiha Ryo knew it was a bad idea to sneak out of the clan compound. In fact, she had been forbidden to leave it on her own. No child was allowed to go out unguarded. Children were security risks, and the clan did not want them to fall into the hands of their enemy. But Ryo was feeling stifled. She hated the harsh training that was forced on her. She hated the constant talks about territories and war. Why would someone even care about that? Was it not enough if everyone just left each other be? Was it really that difficult? Ryo had been sharing her treats with other children often enough. So, why couldn't the adults just share too? Was it really so hard to get along? All Ryo wanted was peace and quiet. All she got was blood and death. She would never forget the tattered, broken body of her father being carried through the compound's gates. She would never forget her mother's terrified scream. It still haunted her in her dreams. And she spent many nights staring at the ceiling, having woken up from yet another nightmare and terrified of falling asleep again. Ryo could feel her chakra spike and hastily changed her train of thought. She did not want her bloodline limit to activate now and force her to relive the crystal clear memory again. Her control was still too weak, and she had yet to learn how to stop her Sharingan from activating every time she got too emotional. The compound's walls were now looming in front of her, dark and threatening. Ryo's small fingers easily pried one of the loose stones away, and she effortlessly wriggled through the opening. The air on the other side felt free, less suffocating, less demanding. Ryo blinked at the slowly brightening sky and smiled as the first sun ray tickled her face, signaling the beginning of a new day. It was beautiful. Ryo activated her Sharingan and allowed the image to burn itself into her mind. She was so mesmerized by the sheer beauty of the scenery that she did not even notice her feet carrying her away from the darkened compound and closer towards the sun. Ryo only realized how far she had strayed away when she saw the river appearing in front of her. Her heart skipped a beat, and she froze in apprehension. The chilly morning breeze mixed with the river's soft spray, and Ryo could feel the gentle coolness brushing over her face. She shuddered. Out of the corner of her eye, she could see something moving at the other side of the river. Ryo turned her head and squinted. She could see the tall outlines of a figure contrasting against the red and yellow of the rising sun. It was a man. Ryo's heartbeat quickened, but she did not move. The man did not move either. He was just sitting there, with hunched shoulders and his head hanging low, absently turning a stone in his palm. He seemed lonely. Ryo could almost feel the melancholic tranquility surrounding his figure. Her mind screamed at her to move, to leave because this was dangerous. But her heart went out to him, and for a long moment she just stood there, frozen, unmoving. Then, once more, her feet went where her mind refused to go, and her lips opened in agreement. "Hello." The man on the opposite side stilled, and slowly raised his head to look at her. Rio felt his gaze settle on her with a sharp yet tired intensity. For a few seconds, they just stared at each other. The child with spinning red eyes. The man, tall and strong. Long black hair dancing in the wind. "You should not be here, child." The man's voice was deep and rumbled with serious solemnity. "This place is not safe for you. Leave while you still can." Rio knew he was right, but she could not bring herself to move. He just looked so lost. "You are sad," she whispered softly. "Why are you so sad?" The man made a sound that was something between a laugh and a sob. "The world is a cruel place, little one," he answered quietly. "There are many things to be sad about." Rio tilted her head. "Like death?" she asked. A soft breeze distorted the man's reflection, the sun's light painting it in the color of blood. "Yes," he agreed, "like death." Rio nodded. The man slowly rose from his position and stared at his glittering mirror image, his shadowed figure illuminated by a ring of yellow light. "It is a cursed world. We are cursed. Cursed to live in a never-ending circle of hatred, of death and blood. A circle that refuses to be broken, no matter how hard I try." Rio frowned. His words made little sense to her. "But I don't hate you. I don't hate anyone," she answered. "Doesn't this mean that the circle is already broken?" The man froze for a second. Then he threw his head back and laughed. "If it only were this simple." His voice sounded different, less detached, and gentler. "But it is a beginning, I suppose." His eyes met hers, and Rio could have sworn that she just had seen him smile slightly. "Thank you, child. Now leave before you are seen. My clansmen would not take kindly to your presence." Rio hesitated for a moment. Then she jumped on top of the river and ran across it until she came to a stop in front of the startled man. "Child." She threw her arms around his waist and squeezed. "Rio," she muttered into his stomach. "My name is Rio. Please take care, Senju-san." Without a further word, she whirled around and fled back to the Uchiha side, quickly leaving the river behind her. The man watched her flee in fond amusement, a soft smile playing around his lips. "Perhaps," he mused, "it is time to contact Madara once more."